Well, this one is going to round off the action from stage 2 here at the Kazoo UK Open for the weekend. But what a game it is to close it out. Jonny Clayton, who we saw dismantle Jose de Sousa on this stage this afternoon, winning by 10 legs to 1. He was sensational in the early part of that game and then closed it out pretty well after a little bit of a wobble. Damon Heta over on the main stage, meanwhile, was dismantling mighty Michael van Gerwen, winning by 10 legs to 4, averaging more than 102 and finishing with deadly accuracy. He has been playing some incredible darts, Damon Heta. He's been brilliant on the Pro Tour, and he looks like he is ready to become a major champion. But Jonny Clayton, the ferret, stands in his way of reaching the final day of action and potentially 3 more games on the main stage with £100,000 in ranking money and the title at the end of it. First to 10, Australia's Damon Heta, Wales' Jonny Clayton,
134.
and Paul Nicholson. Who wins it?
I don't know, and that is why this is going to be so
48.
good. He's got one thing right, Damon Heta. That walk-on song is perfect. And if he does get to Sunday, there's going to be 4,500 people singing "Things
97.
Are Only Gonna Get Heta."
Well, I mean, things can only get Heta. I mean, that doesn't scan, Paul, but I appreciate the sentiment.
60.
That things are getting better for Heta. Because the back end of 2020, when he reached the quarterfinals of the Grand Slam, I think he was playing with the best stuff we'd seen from him in the PDC at that point. And he was only stopped by a heroic display from James Wade. You know, James Wade, the all-time great, 3-time UK Open champion, one of the greatest to ever play the game. The stuff that everybody says about him apparently doesn't get enough credit, according to him. Never mind. 130 for Damon Heta. Doesn't need to go 20 and bull, so looked at the 18s and accidentally pins the double top when he wanted the single 20. It's not a dreadful mistake, unless he starts missing inside 100. On things. But yeah, I think he's playing as well now as he was then.
Yeah, I agree. But he has a different level of confidence right now. You look at what he's done the last couple of years, Dan. Yes, he's won a title. He's averaged really well the last couple of years, but he has raised the stakes when it comes to averages so far this season. If you look at who is up at the top, it's Gerwin Price, of course, at number 1. But who's number 2? It's Damon Heta, and in all Players' Championship games this season, he's averaging over 100. And there's only 2 players doing that, Price and Heta.
Well, there's an indication. And it's not just, you know, pootling along with 101s and 102s, world-class as they may be. Damon Heta is quite capable of going into the 110-plus bracket.
60.
He has certainly made me reassess him, because when he first came over from Australia, I know he won that World Series title and he looked a good player. I thought he was a player who could go and average high 90s on a pretty regular basis, and he was clinical on his finishing, and you wouldn't see him do these monstrous numbers. I was wrong. So very wrong. 96. He has got better and better and better. And I think that he really can be a major champion this year. But then again, a lot of players can.
100.
Who's actually going to do it? He still only has the 2 PDC titles to his name, one on the Pro Tour and that World Series title.
I tipped him to win a European Tour title this year, just to make that next step. But he might bypass that step this weekend. And if he's going to do so, what a horrible draw he's been given.
83. Damon, you require 115.
Andy Bolton, seen off 10-5, MVG 10-4. Now he's got to beat Jonny the Ferret. This is how you do it.
79.
Can't find the double 18.
101.
Clayton hasn't started that hot yet, but there's plenty of time as he looks at double 16.
85.
Heta's getting chances early,
36.
and when you get these opportunities against the Ferret, you have to take them.
Games from the second leg.
When you're playing the way that Damo is,
Heta.
you'd expect him to take pretty much every chance.
Well, astonishingly, he did take almost every chance against Michael van Gerwen on the main stage this afternoon. 11 times he had visits where he had at least one darter to double, and 10 of those he completed the checkout. Only once did he throw a dart, or at least one dart at a double, and he didn't actually complete the checkout. That is some going.
Life in Leicestershire really agrees with him. And coming from Western Australia, where it gets really, really dry, really, really hot, to going to the East Midlands, where the weather is sketchy at best, maybe he was born to live in that area and become the player that he is becoming.
Well, maybe just having the nickname The Heat imbues him with special powers to deal with the UK Open. We've seen that before. Dennis Ovens, 3-time semi-finalist, am I right in saying that?
Yeah, every time you say Dennis Ovens, I just think of horrible shirts. I mean, they were awful.
No, you say horrible. I say visionary.
57.
Well, Dennis is very much missed on the circuit. A very dry sense of humour and a lovely man. So if you're watching, Den, we miss you, mate. But if you want your nickname to live on, who better than this guy?
Oh, he's doing it justice, certainly. Doesn't need to stay on the 20s here. He evidently must like the lie and thought he could force that one in. Didn't quite manage it.
Oh, get the 25. And the ball!
100.
Oh, we saw that a little bit earlier in the tournament. On the main stage. From Joe Cullen. It was last night against Peter Wright. Heta misses out on the 54 for an opportunity of 3-0.
55.
Just dragging those darts below their intended targets a couple of times there. Jonny Clayton on the 25, which he is extremely proficient at taking out. Breaks straight back.
You
know what they say, Dan? If you're very good at hitting 25 checkouts, you mustn't be very good at bullseyes.
Well, I mean, there is a link there.
But the fact of the matter is he's very good at bullseyes.
Right, he just leaves a lot of them, and he goes for the bullseye more than most, because Jonny Clayton, he scored, it's 140s and tons. He will 140 you to death. The amount of times he leaves 81 and 121 and 161, and he's so good he gets darts at bullseye, and he'd just rather go for it. Whether his opponent's on a finish or not, just go for it. And so he often finds himself having to take out 25, and he is very, very good at it.
Yeah, these two players have very good female players from the same sort of region that they're from. Natalie Carter was a very good female player from Western Australia, used to be the partner of Tony David. And Jonny Clayton from Pembrokeshire, of course.
56.
That's the county he used to play for. Former World Master Julie Gore. Very, very fine female player.
Women's match play for the first time this year. Be at Blackpool, same week as the BetVictor World Match Play. Betfred World Match Play. Oh dear. Got that wrong, didn't I?
100.
It's going to be a good year for the ladies. I think the women's series coming up. There's a lot of people maybe watching this on a Saturday night and having a bit of a practice, getting ready for that challenge. That match play
96.
for the women is a big deal.
Just a point between them. Clayton can't take out the 145.
129.
Damon looking at 2 treble 19s here. Certainly what the route Paul Nicholson would go.
Yeah, it's the Aussie way. It's all green. All green. Oh, he misses the green. Lands in the sand. And that was the 146 that Whitlock hit in that famous European match against Jamie Caven. Well, Clayton back for double 8. And he's hit it twice now in this match. We're locked at 2-2. This one could be very long.
Fifth leg, Damon to throw first. Game on.
Well, fascinating contest. Looks like a bit of a battle on the main stage as well. Peter Wright, 4-3 up on Willie O'Connor, averaging 20 points more than him. He's only 4-3 up. He's 108 to 88 in the averages. What's going on?
People are eating the stats up and spitting them out. We're going to get a game this year that will defy mathematics. Someone's going to win with a 75 against someone with 100.
And my money be on all-time great James Wade to produce that kind of performance.
Well, if he's throwing his toys out the pram, I'm not giving him any more compliments. He's not underrated. Maybe we're not talking about him because other things have been happening. But if you want us to talk about you, James, how about you defend your title?
Well, I mean, he's had plenty to talk about with James Wade of late. But his title defence has continued into the final day. And he could be just the third person to win the UK Open and successfully defend it. Jonny Clayton, what are you... Oh, yeah, better count it. Oh, you don't need to do any counting if you're just going to hit big trebles over and over again.
Who was the player that hit the 180 from 299?
94.
It was yesterday.
What? So many games ago.
Yeah. 132 on the end of a 177. Oh, what? Oh, wow! 6 darts from heaven. Look how good that was. That was worthy of any stage.
177, 132 out. How about that, Jonny Clayton? We said this would be good.
100.
Had the chance to go 3-0 up, didn't he? Now he's 3-2 down. Very hard to get rid of a ferret.
Certainly is. Jonny Clayton last year, of course, was this just magical year for Jonny Clayton. Everything he touched turned to gold. And it all started off with some Pro Tour events
96.
in Bolton. He won the Masters, of course. We went on the Pro Tour. He won a title there, beat Damon Heta in the final. Won it by 8 legs to 6. He'd already beaten him in their previous meeting on the Pro Tour. And they played at the World Cup a couple of times. Damon has beaten Jonny Clayton. He beat him at the World Cup, but it was just one rubber of a tie that ultimately Australia lost. So he hasn't meaningfully beaten him. Every time he's gone up against Jonny Clayton, dependent on the format of their match, he has lost the game. Even when he's won, he's lost.
So what you're telling me, Dan, is that he's got a horrendous record against Team Wales because his record against Price is abysmal.
Yeah, so he hasn't won a game against Price in almost 10 goes, and against Jonny Clayton, he's won 1 out of 4, and ultimately it didn't matter because they lost the match.
No time like the present to snap that streak. Not getting a shot at the bull, and Clayton is going to have a look at 118 for 4-2. Things are starting to get frustrating for the Heat. Oh, that helps Heta though. And he's licking his lips in the background. Got to take this chance. Can't let Clayton get a lead. Well, the last leg was brilliant. That last visit, very much the opposite.
And he's left himself 99. Double 16 for Heta. Double 8.
73. Jonny require 99.
Wouldn't surprise me if Clayton takes this now after leaving 99. He starts with a small 3 and then gets another 3.
Well, 6 darts of perfection in the previous leg to end it, and 6 horrendous darts from Jonny Clayton at the end of this leg.
I did say it was a game of fine margins. Double 4. Pushes the wire. Finds the bed. So he can draw a line under the first 6 legs of this contest. We might see another 13.
Damon to throw first. Game on.
Great atmosphere here at Reds. Really enjoyable. And nobody has left their seat after that 19-leg match between Smith and Sulovic, because they've all been waiting for this one.
I mean, this is the one that talking with people at the venue when the draw was made, for a lot of people, this was the standout match. And for us to get it here in Reds Bar, happy days. Thanks, schedulers. We have had an incredible lineup this evening. 2 amazing stories in the teenagers winning. Michael Smith just about getting over the line in an epic last leg decider. I say epic last leg. The match was epic. involved a 9-darter. The last leg decider itself was pretty heavy weather.
It just goes to show, doesn't it, that these elite players are all human. You know, you put them in a one-leg shootout in a last 16 match of the UK Open, and they do semi-crumble.
97.
Nobody is immune to pressure.
98.
Yeah, the pressure on this stage of the tournament is a bit like pork crackling. It's delicious, but it's really hard to chew through.
95.
Satisfying when you get through it, though. 112 for Heta to try and rediscover the lead since
97.
Well, for the
Damon,
first time since
112.
he was 2-1 ahead. He was 1-0 up, 2-0 up, could have been 3-0 up. Now he's going to stay on the 60 as opposed to going for the treble 18. I wonder what Clayton's going to do.
56.
Oh, I think Jonny will do the same, even if he's low on the 20 as well. Doesn't want to be getting his abacus out.
That's the dart he hasn't figured out yet. I was talking yesterday to you, Dan, about
56.
stacking the darts a certain way.
56.
I think if Clayton was a bit more savvy on how his darts behave, he could get even better. Things are about to get better for Heta, if he can find tops.
16.
Just isn't as sharp as he was this afternoon.
Well, a bit of a doppelganger leg this, both on 112, then both on 56. Both get 2 darts at tops, but Jonny Clayton ends the sequence by pinning it.
Jonny
seems to be winning the more key battles here. That breaker throw gives him the impetus again. What is it about Damon playing the Welsh?
100.
I'm going to have to look at his head-to-head records with other Welsh players to see if there's any joy.
Yeah, find me a Welshman I can beat.
There's a few Welsh players on the tour. Obviously Price,
132.
Clayton, Louis Williams, Richie Burnett.
Yeah, Richie Burnett back on the tour. Seen a fair few Welshmen in action. We had John Worsley on this board on the opening day, didn't we?
That's correct. He could have gone through but didn't. It's just a bit of a hush here in Red's bar at this point.
Well, we're expecting fireworks, and they've kind of got bogged down. A few missed doubles. They're not quite finding the trebles as regularly as they have been doing so far this weekend. The level of performance in these two has been high 90s average for the weekend. They're a little way off that at the moment. They're back down in the low 90s. They're not quite firing.
125.
You see the shake of the head from Damon Heta because he's left a bogey number. Couldn't do anything after going into the 5 segment.
140.
That's an incredible 140 there from Clayton. I think he just looks at the 60 and aims for it and lets the physics of the darts take care of themselves.
It's an uncomplicated game for Jonny Clayton. It's a very, very simple approach to the game. And it works.
Treble 19. So Heta will have the chance to go to 4-4. It's a game of cat and mouse at the minute. It's very, very even if this goes. There's the 6. Doesn't have to move. Oh, wow, what a dart that is. I am flabbergasted, Dan, that he didn't move, but he just stayed in rhythm and went for the right-hand portion, got it right in the corner.
Yeah, a significant dart, you feel, because Damon Heta breaks back. We've just had 4 consecutive breaks of throw. In fact, of the 8 legs we've had, 6 of them have been won against the darts. Now, sometimes that's an example of the level of play just being so ridiculous. You're seeing 11 and 12 darters all over the place. Hasn't really been the case. It's more about the player on throw letting the other guy in.
And saving the drama for a little bit later, or maybe after the break, which will come in 2 legs' time.
Well, the thing, with the way that these guys have been playing for a long, long while now, you expect they're going to get back to their normal levels of performance as the game goes on. And some of the scruffier stuff will get tidied up. It's who goes to that level first and how long they can sustain it, or maybe they can find an even higher level, because we've seen what these guys can do. Damon Heta blisteringly good against Michael van Gerwen. Jonny Clayton absolutely unreal for a huge portion of his game against José de Sousa this afternoon.
59.
And it is key that Clayton played on this stage. He's obviously comfortable playing in reds. He's had a 9-darter here before 2 years ago. That incredible win against de Sousa that you've already mentioned. But Damo's obviously very comfortable on the main stage, because that was one of his best performances in his career this afternoon. That's much more like it.
Perfect setup shot from Damon Heta as he looks to go into the lead. Was 2-0 up in this game, then 3-2 down. Jonny Clayton leaves a 1-5-9.
But he's starting to find something here. There's a bit more fluency with the scoring phase for Damo in that leg. But when you back a ferret into the corner, they will show their teeth.
Well, Jonny Clayton is just focused on getting into the mid-game break level at 5-all. Damon Heta will see this as an opportunity. Just attack.
60.
If Damon can find the title this weekend, he would break into the top 16 for the first time. And I don't think he's out of place
100.
in that kind of company.
Oh, not with the standard that he's been throwing for a good while now. As I say, I believe that he's playing as well as he was at the back end of 2020 when he was absolutely superb.
59.
And I thought the Grand Slam had his name on it, and it was only James Wade doing James Wade things that stopped him. Wade put in the kind of performance that Damon Heta put in against MVG this afternoon to stop him. It was that good.
100.
Let's not forget as well that all of the players left in this tournament are trying to qualify for the Grand Slam of darts. Make the final and you will punch your ticket for that.
99.
I do believe Jonny Clayton's already in the Grand Slam, isn't he?
World Series of Darts finals winner, that came after the Grand Slam, is
I think
that
it was
right?
before,
Oh,
actually.
so that won't count.
Yeah, so he's still got to qualify for it. He didn't make the final of the Worlds, he didn't make the final of the Masters. So the current scheme where you don't get a 2-year pass used to be the case. It's now just a 1-year pass.
Well, 6 darts from here for a level game.
89.
Jonny Clayton's going to get a couple of darts at the double to go in at 5-all and leave this very interestingly poised. We saw it as 5-all between Mensur Suljovic and Michael Smith at the break. To be honest, Michael Smith was a little fortunate to be level at that stage.
Jonny required 52.
Two of the best shooters at double 16 on combos right here, and there's proof of it. 5-5 in this brilliant match. It may not have reached boiling point yet, but it has every opportunity to do so when we come back after this short interval. 5-all, we will find a winner when we come back.
We are on the home straight as far as Red's stage 2 action is concerned. And as Jonny Clayton and Damon Heta round the final corner with the finishing line in sight, we're still not sure who is going to break through the tape first and book their place in the quarterfinals of the UK Open. We know that Keane Barry is there, Danny Noppert is there, Sebastian Białecki is also there. James Wade, the defending champion, has managed to make it through, as did Michael Smith. Peter Wright is in all sorts of bother against Willie O'Connor. He's averaging way more than him, but he's 7-5 down on the main stage. And Gerwyn Price, the current world #1, takes on Callan Ridds in the final game on the main stage.
Damon to throw first. Game on.
But two of the hottest properties in world darts right now, the Heat Damon Heta and the Ferret Jonny Clayton, are intertwined at 5 apiece. And neither man has found top gear.
That's very fair to say it. But what they're looking to do
100
is find another gear come the next couple of legs. Get to 7-5 and then keep that gap. The last thing you want is to be looking at your opponent
96.
well in front at maybe 7 or 8-5 up, and then things get really drastic. Essentially what we have now is a best of 9 leg match. That's what it boils down to. I wouldn't be surprised to see these two start having some erratic legs.
78.
The first person to find a hot streak will win this for me.
Well, I thought for a moment when Jonny Clayton managed to clear 309 points in 2 visits that was it. We were seeing him fire the afterburners, but almost immediately it went horribly wrong for him. Damon wants to stay there, but is he moving down the board? You see, 128 is a lot harder to finish than 127.
I think he would have stayed if Clayton was lower than 300.
97.
I think that was a calculated risk, and I think he's made the right play in the end. That's why he's not gone the 18s route on the 128.
96.
Yeah, that'll do. He's a double 16 guy, just like Jonny Clayton. And like I mentioned at the end of the last leg, these two for me are
93.
the best
Damon, you require
combination
32.
shooters with double 16 at the end, bar none in the world.
From the 11th
He's not
leg.
too bad with 3 in hand as well.
From
6'5" Heta.
22, so first, game on.
Well, that would have been objective 1 for Damon Heta. Come out and put a
100.
solid hold of throw in there.
You know what's going to happen, Dan? If Damon gets through this game, he's going to draw Getter and Price in the next round, because it would be the most
99.
sickening draw, arguably, in a while in the UK Open. I know all about it. I got Anderson, then Taylor, then Wade in 3 games at
95.
these exact moments on Saturday and Sunday afternoon. If Damon wants to win this title, he's going to have to do it the ultimate hard way with no cheat codes.
Well, the greatest UK, or one of the greatest UK Open wins, in my opinion, was Robert Thornton's victory in 2012.
Unquestionably.
Where he started off taking on a world champion in Mark Webster, then beat Gary Anderson, then overcame Dennis Priestley, Wes Newton, who, let's not forget, was quarterfinals in everything minimum at the time, then overcame Dave Chisnall, and then beat Phil the Power Taylor in the final. Now, if you can find me a harder route to a major title, I will be astonished.
Yeah, that is universally known as
57.
one of the greatest major championship wins in history. And in fact, what was even as impressive as that was Robert Thornton hoisting that trophy above his head, because that thing weighed a ton.
134.
Well, there's some pressure there.
116.
Asks the question of the ferret. On top of that one, just like that, double 18. Ooh.
88.
He was out of position there by looking at the second dart. He should have stepped back and reset. 60 needed. 60 found. Combination shot with 32 at the end. I've bigged him up. Over to you, Damon.
80.
That was close. I thought it was in. Genuinely thought it was in. Had to double take. Don't miss inside. Doesn't miss inside. Jonny Clayton levels up. We still can't separate these two.
So first, game on.
Damon could have been 7-5 up. He could have had that jump. But this game is getting better. It's improving by the leg.
140.
Very hard worker, Damon Heta. Loves a practice. Jonny Clayton, I would say,
100.
less so. He's more natural, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Jonny Clayton, for an awful long while, was renowned for rocking up at events, appearing 5 minutes before the cut-off for registration. Digs his darts out of his bag, warms his arm up for 10 minutes, and then just gets on. Turns out he averages 100 for the entire day and wins a title.
He's one of the reasons why they changed the rule. because he'd turn up at 5 to 11, he'd be a top seed and he'd be playing at 12 o'clock. But now they've changed the rule. You have to be there before 10 to make sure they've got all of the 128 in the room. So now he gets there at 5 to 10.
I bet he was fuming with that, Jonny Clayton.
You've cost me an hour in bed.
The thing is now that because he's a Premier League player and he's in all the TV tournaments and very often going deep in these tournaments, he's playing so much, he doesn't need to put in the hours on the practice board. It's there for you. It's the same as Michael van Gerwen. Van Gerwen for years didn't practice away from the tournaments because he was playing 4-5 days a week and usually for several hours because he's always in the quarters and the semis and the finals. It becomes, you know, that is your practice, winning game, and it's the best practice.
Simon Whitlock used to say exactly the same when he was in the Premier League. 57 needed. Doesn't get a shot at the 32 this time, and it's Clayton for the break. This time for 7-6.
Heta had the chance in the last leg to break, couldn't take it. Jonny Clayton has the chance this time. It's one dart at tops for 7-6.
Little wins there from JC. For a second he thought he might have snagged that. Let's see if Damon can find that same double bed. He does, and he protects his throw for now.
This is nip and tuck. They are both getting chances. Little opportunities here and there.
139.
Neither of them has been at their clinical best, and so those chances aren't being gobbled up. And it does mean that this is a pick'em game.
These guys are used to playing multiple games in a day, don't get me wrong. But multiple games in a day of this format of best of 19 on different stages, in the case of Damon Heta. Trust me, it's draining. I remember being at this stage of the tournament in 2011, and after the Saturday, I was sleeping so well within 90 minutes of leaving the Reebok Stadium in Bolton. This is a draining day, but you really want to be part of another one tomorrow. If you've got energy left, find it. That little percent of energy that you can find could make all the difference.
Needs 2 more big trebles and can't get them.
57.
So Jonny Clayton can just breathe a little sigh of relief here.
Double 16.
86.
He will return. You said it was nip and tuck, Dan. You're absolutely right. It's backwards and forwards like a Newton's cradle. It's very even. We haven't seen the biggest moment of this match yet, and time is running out.
Double 4 is pinned, so a relatively stress-free hold of throw for Jonny Clayton, and they've been thin on the ground in this game.
One set of darts. That's what this is now. This is a World Championship set. 501 straight start, best of 5.
Well, we saw against José de Sousa this afternoon. Jonny Clayton had a 3-leg burst, won in 36 darts. 12 darter, 12 darter, 12 darter. Damon Heta's quite capable of doing that. Anything like that from either man. And this game is there.
What was that combination that Price put in that World Final against Anderson? The 3-leg burst.
I think it was...
Was it 33 or 34 darts?
I think it was 30. I think it was a 12, 11 and a 10, and he missed the double for the 9, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, he hits the 9. It's the greatest set in history. Even despite missing it, it's right up there. It might be the greatest set in history.
Yeah, I think it is the greatest set in World Championship history, and he's missed something in it.
But then, of course, the greatest set in World Championship history is obviously James Wade winning a set despite Michael van Gerwen hitting a 9-darter and missing the double for a 9-darter straight away and losing the set, because that is funny.
What about Gary Anderson winning a set of darts when he's had 3 on the floor?
That was very good. World Championship final.
See, there you go, James. We've just paid you a huge compliment, so deal with it.
60. Damon requires 74.
Well, Jonny Clayton, it's his turn not to really challenge on his opponent's throw. And he's going to have to find a breaker throw from somewhere. Damon Heta This is manna from heaven for the Heat.
54.
You just love going for shots like that when your opponent's on something over 200, but you don't like missing it regardless. Now you don't want to miss it because you know that Clayton can clean up 82 easily. 15 legs in and Heta has the lead again. He would have the darts in leg 19 if we go that far.
Predominantly breaks of throw in the first half of the match. Nothing but holds of throw since the mid-game break. That continues. Heta wins.
When he's starting to continue that action like that without aiming, Clayton has got something to worry about because Heta is in the groove. Just little things about Damon's game that I do notice. I probably watch him more than most. But Clayton's rhythm never seems to change. It's that nice, choppy style with the prod and forward. But when Damon's comfortable, he doesn't aim. He just lets it flow through.
Jonny Clayton hitting a ton to leave 162. Come on now, Jonny. The counting has improved of late. It hasn't helped you there.
I know that Damon can take out 261 and 6, but he needs a 51 to have a chance, or possibly a 57.
59.
I understand that play. It was go for broke. It was just to get the big treble, whatever it was, but Jonny has dodged one. And of course he's hit 2 treble 20s on 162.
130.
Nice to see Jonny Clayton set it up from the 162, bearing him on the Pro Tour the other day. Had 163, hit a 180 and bust his score.
So he is learning something.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
58. Jonny required 52.
There you go, double 16 hits by one of the best double 16 hitters in the world. So we're down to best of 3.
Well, Jonny Clayton has already had a very close encounter. Martin Lukeman in his opening game went all the way to a last leg decider. Damon Heta, he's breezed through his 2 games so far, but this is anything but a stroll.
The scoring line has been really good for Damon, but the weight of the dart is lost there, which just invites Clayton back in here. If he can find 2 trebles, it will be leg back on again.
100.
Boy, this is tense. Really tense, because whoever comes through this has got a genuine shot at winning this whole thing.
We will have 2 Irishmen in the quarter-finals because Peter Wright has been beaten by Willie O'Connor.
133.
Jonathan.
Ferret! Bullseye last dart would have got him to a finish. As it is, Heta is allowed 2 visits from here.
These are the kind of things that are going to burn you eventually. You can't keep leaving bogey numbers
64.
and not expect these kind of opponents to pounce. Yes, he's only left 100, but it's a guaranteed 100.
137.
Well, he tied it up nicely, and this is a huge opportunity for Clayton despite the mathematical errors. He doesn't know what to do. Does he go for the 60? Does he go for the tops?
Make your mind up, Damon. Mind made up. Wow! Where did that come from? He didn't even know what he was going to do. And when he figured it out, he solved the puzzle. 9-8 in this game that is far from done.
Given the context, given the opponent, given there's a quarter-final spot on the line, it would only be his 3rd major quarter-final in PDC darts, Damon Heta. That is one of the shots of the weekend.
That may be one of the shots of his career. Wow, that was a show of passion from Damon as well. He wants this badly.
100.
Jonny Clayton sat on a double with 3 darts in hand. Damon Heta, tops finish. If he doesn't hit that, he probably loses this game.
Heta's got kahunas, that's for sure. And he's showing More spirit in this 18th leg of the contest. I almost don't want it to end. Wow, what a switch!
92.
Utilising the treble 4 first, that's a new one on me. Of course he was going for the 18s. But it's 6 darts from 261 to win. And he's left 1-2-1.
What a player Damon Heta is. We've said, but look, he is not playing his best. It's his worst performance of the weekend so far. But it might be a brilliant win. Treble 17 and bull. Match start Heta.
It wasn't short, that's for sure. If Clayton hits this, watch out. He's not going to. So Damon Heta, who adores double 16, it's winning many a title across the globe. It might win him a place in the quarterfinals.
Double 16. Next door.
29. Jonny require 96.
He's going to hold his breath to see what Clayton does now. Does he go double-double? He chose not to, and it wasn't close, and Heta in the background
Damon, you require 16.
thinking about what he has to do. This is what you wake up in the morning for. 3 darts at a double you like to win a match.
And Damon Heta follows up the defeat of Michael van Gerwen with a win over Jonny Clayton. The Australian is through to the quarterfinals of the UK Open for the first time in his career. It took him a few darts to get over the line, but you may not see a better checkout than the one in the penultimate leg. 2 double tops for the 100 finish at a crucial moment. He is playing unreal stuff at the moment, Damon Heta, and having beaten MVG and beaten the Ferret, it is quite possible that he wins 3 more games tomorrow and becomes a major champion in PDC darts for the first time in his career. It's been a majestic session here at Stage 2 in Reds Bar. A brilliant couple of days. It all moves onto the main stage for tomorrow with the quarterfinals in the afternoon, the semis and the final in the evening. Somebody wins £100,000. It might be Michael Smith's first major title. It might be Damon Heta's. It could be a teenager, because Keane Barry and Sebastian Białecki have both come through their games on this stage today. Join us tomorrow afternoon and for the evening as the UK Open concludes at Butlins Minehead.